Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're good, hope you're well. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's get straight into it. I'm 30. I don't know if you know, I don't really talk about it too much, like you may not have heard, but I turned 30 recently-ish. And with this new decade, there are a few things that I am desperately trying, succeeding, and sometimes failing to get rid of, to let go of. And I think that some of these things might be useful for us all, useful for us to discuss and to think about. And so with that being said, here are 5 things that I am trying to leave in my 20s. Class is officially in session. In no particular order, number 1, people pleasing. Of course, this is on the list. You already know I've been very open and honest about my journey out of people pleaserdom. Because quite frankly, being a people pleaser is what it is. But at this age, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. And it's embarrassing because ultimately, people pleasing is a fear of man. Making decisions that do me a disservice for the sake of appeasing other people, and then in the long term, not helping either of us, it makes absolutely no sense. So I've been on this journey for a while, and to be fair, I'm quite proud of the progress that I've made. But quite recently, I saw two things that sort of reminded me to keep going, but also at the same time made me laugh. They made me laugh at myself. The first was a TikTok. Here it is.
Oh, you're a people pleaser, right? Name 3 people that are pleased with you.
What did it for me was the judgmental chuckle at the end. Because really and truly, Adella, answer the question, Answer the question. Name people who are pleased with you. At the end of the day, nobody cares or benefits from your people pleasing. The only people that actually really truly benefit from your people pleasing are like psychopaths, narcissists, all them people. And I don't think I have those people in my life. So really and truly, who am I pleasing? Not me and not them. The second thing that made me laugh and also gave me a much needed reminder was this clip from the Receipts podcast where Tolly T said this.
What I understand about people pleasing is, okay, so they're pleased. What about you?
Yeah, exactly. You're not. Trust me. You're very rarely fulfilled.
Yeah.
In fact, often you just end up feeling resentful.
Yeah. How come the people pleasing doesn't start with yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm the first one.
I'm the people.
I am the congregation here.
Once again, Adella, answer the question. Answer the question. What about me? What about me? Because I'm not pleased. So what now? And I know it's because I have a problem. I feel uncomfortable with being the satisfied party when I know that the other person is unsatisfied. But why don't I feel that way about myself? That's the question. Number 2, the second thing I'm trying to leave in my 20s is the male gaze. At 30, I'd like to think I'm well on the way to cementing and still developing my own personal style. And it's based on the things I love, it's based on what I know about myself, how I want to show up in the world, and also it's based on the fact that as you get older, you are hopefully you have less financial restrictions. So you really can express yourself in the way that you want to express yourself. And one thing that I realize is holding me back, and it's holding a lot of us back, especially the ladies, is this idea of dressing for the male gaze. I made a video about it, and dressing for the male gaze isn't necessarily overtly being like, I want a man's attention, because I don't want a man's attention. But dressing for the male gaze is this idea that whatever I wear, even if it is to do with my own personal style, there's always something in the back of my head that's like, oh, make this a bit more feminine, show a bit of skin, make sure it's fitted in some areas. And it's like, why? At the end of the day, dressing for the male gaze is boring. For me personally, based on my personal style, it holds me back. And so I need to let it go. And if you think that you're somebody that dresses for the male gaze, also let it go. Because like I said in the short video that I made, if you're trying to dress for the boys, you can't do cool stuff. You can't wear tabby loafers. You can't wear socks and like those brogues or whatever. You can't do fun stuff because the boys don't get it. Well, some of them do, but most of them don't get it. And so stop dressing for the male gaze. Start figuring out your own personal style and just go crazy with it. Number 3. Oh, that's 2. Number 3, body consciousness. Now, I think about my physical appearance much more than I'm comfortable with. I've reflected, I've taken stock, and I realize, yes, I think most of us probably do think about how we look sometimes, but for me, over the years, my whole life, I think about it way more than I would like to and way more than I'm comfortable with. Some things don't help that. I'll be honest, being on camera does not help that, because I've said it before, we are not supposed to see ourselves the amount we see ourselves in today's day and age. Now add the fact that my job is to be on screen and I have to review my content and watch my content and look at myself, it doesn't help. You know what else doesn't help? Turning 30. I feel like when I was younger, I would, obsess over things like, I want to be skinny and stuff. But whereas now, I started having new concerns. Are my boobs sagging? Is my skin drooping? Are lines forming? Things that I wasn't thinking about before. And it's not helpful. And as I get older and as I mature mentally and physically, I have to remind myself that physical flaws, because I don't really like that word, but for lack of a better word, physical flaws are not a moral failing. And I feel like we live in a world where it almost feels like not being perfect or not being beautiful or having flaws is a moral failing, makes you not a nice person. And the reason why we feel that way is because unfortunately people treat you like you're not a nice person if you're not as beautiful. Hence the phrase pretty privileged. And I suspect, like many women, unfortunately, I've been somewhat obsessed with my looks for a very long time. For me personally, I feel like it started when I was around 14. And if you do the maths, that's 26 years of wasted energy. That is 26 years of the percentage of my brain being consumed by something that actually it should not be consumed by. That's crazy. And I really believe that if it doesn't end now, if I don't take actionable steps, if I'm not proactive in cutting that off now, then this is going to be a problem for the rest of my life. And sometimes when something is a problem, it kind of stays at the back of your head and it's just part of who you are. You're like, oh yeah, I'm obsessed about X, Y, and Z. And it's like, absolutely no, that doesn't make it healthy, doesn't make it okay. Just because it's manageable or you live with it, that doesn't make it okay. And so I am dedicated to cutting that out. How? I haven't figured that out yet. I'm practicing some things. And if not for myself, if not for ourselves, then let's do it out of rebellion. Like, excuse me, but forget the social systems, the patriarchy, the media, the things that tell us that we have to obsess over cosmetics and perky boobs and non-graying hair and baby skin. Like, I'm so sorry, but can we, out of rebellion, can we just say like, no, actually, no. I don't know if I can be any more firm than that, but no. Like, don't get me wrong, I still care about my skin and I still want to look cute and I still care about being in shape and healthy and those things. But I really want it to come from a place of love. And I know people who care about those things, but it absolutely comes from a place of love and not from a place of, let's call a spade, hate. Number 4, dilly-dallying. This one's for the undercover lazy people them. This one is for those of us who produce excellent work, but we know deep down that we're giving 40%. If that's you, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. In the words of TD Jakes. I'm 30. And at this point, goals have to be reached. Tasks have to be completed. Plans have to be executed. And ultimately, money have to make. Because gone is the excuse of, I'm just figuring it out. Now, if you really are figuring it out, then, continue to figure it out. I don't think there's an age limit to that. But for me, the gag is, I'm not figuring it out. I have already figured it out. My goals are set. My path is clear. I know what I need to do. All that's left is execution for me. Execution, review, probably, tweak, go again. But I'm not figuring it out, I'll be real. So for me, the dilly-dallying, the procrastination, the umming, the ahhing, it has to stop. Leaving that in my 20s. And I feel like I'm somewhat on that path. Sometimes I backslide, but for the most part, Adella, we're making moves. Number 5, last but definitely not least, fear of failure. Interestingly, something that really ties together all the previous points, the things that contribute to my people pleasing, the thing that causes me to think about my appearance too much, the thing that causes me to dilly-dally, it's this idea that I can only showcase excellence. I can only put something out if it is excellent. And excellence is good, of course, but for me, it's this idea that I can't get things wrong. God forbid I'm corrected or chastised or told that my work is not good. God forbid a friend tells me that I've upset them, that I've hurt them. I realized recently in therapy that I don't do well with that. I produce excellent work because I'm excellent, let's be real, but also because I have a fear of failure. It's not to be confused with perfectionism. I'm quite happy to release imperfect work and to show vulnerability and show that I'm human and all that stuff. But the thing is, for me, despite maybe something not being at 100%. I know that it's above 50. I know that it's excellent, and I know that it's going to be received well. But this inability that I have to at least let things be rough at the start, to at least be okay with putting something out and then slowly improving it, this idea that it has to be up here from day one, I think that has in the past stopped me from just doing. So going forward, I am actively practicing being okay with being wrong. Wrong in work, in life, in relationships, in all areas. One time I was struggling to make a decision, and it was to do with how to act in like a situation with a friend. And Keith literally said something to me that stuck in my head. He said, just make a decision. Just make a decision, stand by your decision, and if your decision is wrong, then you apologize and you correct it. And to me, this was mind-blowing. I was like, what do you mean wrong decision? Especially in the context of like friendship and relationship. I said, what do you mean if I make the wrong decision, just say sorry? Like, that's not an option. Like, I need to decide on what is the absolute correct decision right now. And that's the only way I can stand firm in my decision. But to him, it was like, just make a decision, not a big deal. Like, if you get it wrong, then you say sorry in it. And I just couldn't, the concept, I couldn't grasp it. And that was a revelation for me, because this is how people are living their lives. They're just out here making mistakes and apologizing, which is actually fine. And that's the problem, because out of fear of making the wrong decision, I'd be paralyzed, I'd be stifled, I'd be unable to move forward, because I'm like, no, the decision I make has to be absolutely the right one. But honestly, I'm happy to say that slowly I'm getting rid of that. I'm getting rid of that mindset. If I upset you, I'm sorry, innit? I'm sorry, I will apologize, and I will honestly try to do better. If the first iteration of my new project isn't a hit, I'm sorry, innit? Like, my bad, I tried. I will go back to the drawing board, I'll take feedback, and I'll come back better than ever. And honestly, it's so freeing. I think one thing that is necessary that helped me compile this list is definitely therapy. I know I talk about therapy, but it's really good at revealing things that are going on and why you operate the way you operate. And now I've been able to put those in front of me. This list was almost therapeutic in itself. And now I know, Adella, these are the things you're going to work on. And you know what? I'm going to work on them with love. I'm not beating myself up. I'm not like, Adella, no, it is, I am who I am. I'm sorry, innit? And I'm going to work on it. And I'm just going to keep getting better and better, because I'm in my 30s now, do you know what I mean? I don't know if you know this. Those are my 5. I hope that's helpful, because I realize a lot of us, we be living the same lives. And so maybe you can relate. But as always, please let me know what you think down below. If you have others that are not on the list and you just feel like sharing, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you're working on. You don't have to be 30, you could be 12. And let me know what you think of my list. If you have any more advice for me, I'm always open to that. As always, please do subscribe if you're not already. Like I said, comment down below. Share this with someone, please. That helps get the video out there. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.